I appear twice because the black one, the one that's outlined in, not outlined, but just a black screen, is my other computer that's closed, and I will share things from there like I've done in the past. Cricket hat. Welcome to March 25th, 2021. Hey, Thursday. As we embark on our last, I've been saying last leg of the semester, which compares it sort of to a race. But we're not really in a race, unless you say we're in a race against time, but we're not competing with each other or anything like that. The last part of our journey together. I guess you say leg for a journey, don't you? We're in the last leg of our journey, whatever. So yeah, we only got like four weeks or so before the final exam review week. And most of that's going to be taken up with Essay 3 and the group presentation, which is sort of a, I don't know, a tributary off of Essay 3. I mean, it's related. So you're not going to be doing much more. You're just going to be presenting to the class. That's SLO number 5. The SLOs of the student learning outcomes that I'll show you on the syllabus. So before we get started, I had thought to send you all an email that I've sent to my previous classes, because my first class we didn't meet on account of Canvas being unpleasant and uncooperative. And my second class, I recorded everything. Am I recording now? Yes, I'm recording here, and I recorded there. And, you know, when we get down to the nitty gritty, they get a little bit upset and hostile. And so I wanted to kind of prime you for what to expect today, so that your aggressiveness and your hostility is not going to go far. It's not going to get you anything. It won't even irritate me all that much. Because I repeat, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you all satisfy the course requirements, but I'm not going to let you slide without satisfying the course requirements. That's the problem. And believe me, if I didn't have to share this bad news with you today, my life would be easier. I'm bending again to make everything possible for you, even though I shouldn't. So if you want to run out of here and complain, then I guess they'll tell me, well, you got to abide by the syllabus, in which case I think all but 4 of you will get a 0 for Essay 2. And if I have to stick by the syllabus and by the schedule and by all that stuff. So for your benefit, I hope you don't do that. Doesn't matter to me. I like to make some comparisons, and maybe you'll understand it then. Maybe not. I don't know. I sound like Jack Nicholson. Say you're going on an airplane ride. Get that in that seat, y'all comfy? Probably not, unless you're flying first class, which I've only done once in my life. But you're sitting there, you're hoping it's not a bad flight or whatever. I think you're hoping that they have a pilot who's not drunk. Check mark. That, I don't know, they check the engine, make sure it's running okay. Check mark. Make sure there's no ice on the wheels and all that kind of stuff. Check mark. Make sure that all the systems are active and running well. Check mark. And so on. I'm sure there are a bunch of checks that they have to go through. before they can go vroom, vroom and take off and fly and you go to sleep and then they land and all that. All that has to get done before the flight. Keep that in mind. If you're a soldier, I only know this because of movies, but in the movies, we're going to battle. I got my big gun. Okay, strap on. You got your PCs? Check. You got your grenades? Check. You got this? Check, 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 all that. We're all ready. Let's go to battle. Okay. Has nothing to do with the battle. It's all stuff that has to happen before the battle can begin, or, before you can go into the battle. Same thing with the airplane. And if you want me to come up with 10 other metaphors, analogies, I will. I prefer not, but I think you get the point. So the guidelines for SA2 were not, if you feel like it. They're check marks. They're check, I did that. Check, I did that. And now you can go shoot people, or you can go fly in an airplane or whatever, or I can grade your paper. So when you say, well, I got a 0, I got a 0, and that's because you didn't meet the check marks. It's nothing to do with your writing or your style or anything. You fail to check all the marks off. And so I have no choice, because the check marks relate to the student learning outcomes. The student learning outcomes are what are commanded by me. You see, I did this with the other class, and this all goes right over them. Always, was 0? Well, if I didn't give you a 0 and you turned in something that didn't meet the guidelines, I would be failing to do my job, which is to make sure that all of my students who pass have met those student learning outcomes. And 5 of them, the fifth one out of the 6 being the group presentation. 5 of them deal directly with your ability to craft, research-based projects in writing, using a format and academic styling. So MLA is not my design. If the department told me, hey, don't do anything, just let them run free form, that's what I would do. That's how I would grade you. But they say MLA format, works cited, MLA format, the whole shebang. And they don't say, or kind of close. There's no kind of close. It's either or. So that's the rationale for the 0s. I can't give you a grade because you failed to meet the minimum. Minimum means a very specific thing. You got to grab onto the back of the plane. You got to do whatever. That's the minimum. You can't take a flight if you don't have at least get on the plane. So having said all that, we're going to look at the specifics of it through the numbering system that I use to save myself time, because this is ultimately going to take me more time, so that you may or may not redeem yourself. I don't know. And by yourself, I don't mean you. You don't need redemption. I'm not your priest or whatever. I mean your SA2 and your SA3. So directives, the word directive is basically a command. It's an order. Directive sounds a whole lot nicer because it's basically telling you do this and don't do that or whatever. So a directive is an order, basically. You must do this. And that's what the guidelines basically are. So if I asked you to give me some directives based upon some outcomes, and the outcomes are that I must be able to sing a song, a nationally recognized song, make an animal noise, and recite a list. I don't know. Those are the basic outcomes. That's what you would see on the syllabus for the essay, or essay writing. You wouldn't sing a song, but I hope you get my connection. And then you said, okay, Mr. Schmidt, this is what we want you to do. We want you to bark like a dog, make an animal noise, recite your ABCs, a list, and sing a nationally recognized song. Hey, let's go with the Star Spangled Banner. Ah, I got you. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain. And I heard Jimi Hendrix did a really great rendition of the Star Spangled Banner that is both a protest and a patriotic version. I don't know how that could be. Seems interesting though. But bark, bark. Okay, bark. Bark is what's on a tree. That's what that fellow just did behind me, but that wasn't me. But I just chimed them in like that. I'm just babbling right now because I'm not doing the directives. I'm kind of sticking to them a little bit, maybe. Oh, that's what wolves do. Close enough? No, not close enough. There's no close enough. And the ABCs, A, B, C, D, F, G, blah, 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 blah. So they're alphabetic. Jamma, W, X, Y, Z. There you go. Close enough, right? Now, you would, if you were accountable. Now, if you're not accountable, I don't care. Kind of sounded funny to me. Here's a B. But if you're held accountable, which TaskStream does for us, and I'm not going to go into that, but that's basically what TaskStream is all about. We just got a video, not a video, an email from Dr. Palmer, the provost, telling us, don't forget about our TaskStream and how we're accountable for a bigger picture than any of us. And you'll have to submit your SA3 to TaskStream, and then I assess it. I don't grade it. You don't get a grade from me for the assessment. You get a grade for the essay. It's the same essay, but I assess it based upon the rubric, which is based upon the student learning outcomes. It's all a big circle. And then I say, did I do my job with these people? With whoever I mean, it may not be you. Basically, it's like you pick 5 random ones from each class. So I might have, 20 total students that I look at from all my classes and go, how did you gave this person a B, but they couldn't write a works cited page if their life depended upon it. Am I doing my job then? And that's what the accountability thing is. So, let's look at some specifics. If I can find them. And not to be all, what's the word that you search for? Like cut you off at the pass kind of thing. There's a word that means like, can't think of the word where you stop something from happening before it happens. But anyway, lest you want to complain, and you'll see in the email, oh, you confused us. Or you didn't say that. You didn't tell us we had to do that. I've gone through the video here, and I will send you the email with all the moments where I cover every one of these basic. That's not the right thing, but it's on there as well. And if it comes. So here I very meticulously, you can see the video, go through how to deal with titles, how titling works. I don't remember too many absolutes, so you did fine there. There were a few self-references, but not enough to be too alarmed. You can't get rid of those abbreviations, some of you, and I feel, I believes. There's a basic outline of a structure, and here's your checklist. Pretty sure I went over that. I mean, I know, I looked at the video. That's not right. What we really need to look at, before I release your grades, if you can see things you're not supposed to be able to, blame Canvas. I try to hide it until I'm finished grading and talking about it. But Canvas kind of does its own thing whenever it wants to. It'll reveal some and not some others. And I'd have to show it to you, and I can't, because I can't show you students' names or whatever, grades. But here's the review, if it allows me. And in the email that I will forward to you all, I have the video from that class linked with the time signatures. I think that's what you call it. I don't know what it's doing. It's just spinning and spinning. I have this open already. So what we're going to look at when we ever get there is a numbered list. Here's my work in progress. I know I just sit around doing nothing, but 7 items basically, starting with 1, which is no submission at all. Obviously, if you didn't submit something, you should know what your grade is. Here they are. Some of you may have forgotten, I hope not, that no submission means a 0, and a 0 means automatic failure of the course based upon the syllabus that is designed to be that way. You must complete all of those, whatever, 5 assignments, 6 assignments satisfactorily. Errors, by errors, I mean, grammar, punctuation, sentence structure. Nothing wrong with that. Those are the easy things. Those are things I can help you with, unless there's sloppiness. And then I just tell you, if this is just slop. I mean, if you're not capitalizing proper nouns and stuff like that, that's 4th grade stuff. I can't spend time doing that. But complicated grammar things or punctuation basics, I might point it out. But when you have too many of them, then you don't have a passing paper. It's failing to meet the minimum of what's required at this level. At the Comp 1 level, the requirements are a little bit more lenient, I guess. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Academic style. On the main page, you can see there's something that says second person something. And it's explaining to you through some other website why I'm telling you can't use second person. And I'm trying to weed it from you, because it's not an academic diction. It's not the way that we're supposed to be talking. It's fine for informal writing or informal discussions. First person intrusion is when there's nothing wrong with first person. First person intrusion is when you it's like if you were, I don't know, playing pool, right? And you go, here I go, I'm gonna pull my stick back now, and then I'm gonna hit that cue ball and make that little blue ball go in the corner pocket. Now they actually do that to call things, but you don't need to narrate what you're doing inside of your essay. You just hit the ball or whatever it is. That's first person intrusion. As I sit here and think about my essay, the right reading. Number 4 is a serious one. 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, and 6 are automatic failure ones, automatic 0. 7 is a combination. So, you didn't space it right. I don't hold that one thing against you. But there's a fancy word that says accretion, 1 and then 1. And so a student in my early class said, well, can you explain to me why I got an 80? And then I started explaining. I go, yeah, but you did this, this, and this. And by the time I was finished, it's like, maybe I shouldn't have given you an 80. Because those things accrete, they build upon one another. And by reciting them to her, I start to hear that. Oh. That's why when students ask me, I want you to use a rubric, and I say, okay, fine. Everybody's probably going to get zeros for everything then, because rubrics rely upon points. So even if you did all the check things, but then I was still taking off points, you might still fail. I don't know if you get a 0. This one is not, that's one of the automatic zeros. Thesis is not optional ever. And on the guidelines, if we looked at them, or if you look at the video, I walked all my classes very specifically through what I wanted the thesis to be, where I wanted it to be, how you're going to use the introductory statistics, how you're going to transition to Hiltzik or whatever, and so on. Some people just simply didn't include a works cited, and some people just didn't follow my guidance. It's in the video, and I could show you some samples today, but I have to stop the share. So now before I show you those things, all right, so you're freaking out and you're mad at me. Man, whatever. Rather than be mad back at you, I'm concerned about what we do now, because I have to be accountable, but I also don't want to fail, a majority of my students. That's not my aim. So what do we do? Well, you're going to have 2 options. The option's already there for you. to select it. You can think about it. Because my earlier students were up in arms and all. And it's like, well, no, you get a 0. That's my policy. That's the student learning outcomes for failing to meet the guidelines. I don't care how great everything else is. If you turned it in, if it was the greatest essay in the world, you turned it on toilet paper, automatic 0. You turned it in and it was perfect, except you didn't include a works cited, automatic 0. Those are all aspects of the minimums. So what do we do about it? Well, you can opt to have me reassess. This is where the more work comes for me. Reassess where you stand based upon a sliding failure grade. So how bad did you fail, kind of thing. Like if you had put the works cited, what would you have gotten? So anywhere from 65 down. So it's going to be some kind of failing grade, and you can accept that and just move on to SA3 as a whole new entity. Don't worry about it. Or you can choose to have SA3 be the one where you redeem yourself and you pull out a good 90, let's say, and 10% of that, 100 points of that 450 points, now we'll go back to SA2 with a 5% penalty. So if you get a 90, you'd get an 86 or whatever it would be for SA2 once you redeem yourself. The benefit of that is if you can pull it out, if you can remedy the things that you didn't get right, you'll get a good grade, and that good grade will reflect back. Do I follow that so far? Tell me no, if not. The benefits, I don't know the benefits of the other way. If you insist that you get a grade because you did something, okay, I'll give you the best failing grade I can based upon what you submitted. And with the idea that you didn't meet the guidelines, the minimum guidelines. So, I mean, you might want to, if you want a 60 for SA2, I could give you a 60 and then hope for the best for SA3. But even if you do great on SA3, let's say you really did great, you still got that 60 hanging over you. Another 100 points will come from other activities we'll do between now and April 20th, when SA3 is due. Basically, I'll be parceling out, giving you all the things that, not all the things, but some of the things that went wrong with SA2. You have to do it in advance. Let me see your thesis statement. Let me see your argumentative tactic. Let me see your works cited before it's finalized. And so those will add up to the other 100 points. So you have 250, 100 for the assignments, and then 100 that goes back to SA2. Best I can offer. Well, I think that's the best I can offer. If you want the other way, well, I'll do it. It's more work on me, but I can do that. That I would call that, they call that something, the trophy win or something like that, where everybody gets something just because they showed up. All right, so here's an example of a student who got some stuff right, some stuff wrong. Oh, I thought I removed her name, but don't tell Kayla. That's actually, okay, that's fine. So you say, okay, well, she didn't capitalize her title. No big deal, a little deal. Because remember, when you grade, you open it up, you go, okay, well, look what I got here. Everything's supposed to be professional looking. So right away, you kind of got a little rip in your shirt. No big deal, a little rip in the shirt. So you did get her spacing all right here, so I'm happy. There's a spacing problem here, but I would probably overlook it. But then I just showed you, and if you look again, we never, you can look at the video and I say, you never ever have a combination of italics, underlining, and quotation marks, and whatever else you might do. This has all three. And also on that same page, I tell you how to handle specific titles. But that's not the big problem. That's a little thing. But one little thing, another little thing, That's just kind of a style problem there. And then we get down to a bigger thing. Here we are in paragraph 4-ish, whatever, and we're finally getting to our statistics. And I very clearly stated on the guidelines, start, use it as an introductory tactic, then transition to Hiltzik, and then to your thesis statement. And then you can go on and discuss whatever Hiltzik says in greater detail. So this is number 4, by the way, the failure to meet those kinds of things. 5 is self-referencing. 6 is works cited issues. And so she's got a works cited issue. Now, I think Kayla is trying hard, but she's not trying hard enough. She even said, well, I just figured I'd turn in something. Well, that's what essay 3, I guess, is going to be about, because you got to get it right eventually. I can't pass you, the SLOs, unless you get it right. And you know what? How easy it is for me to get it right. I already did it on another form with her, but I get rid of all this space. I don't know what it's doing there. I highlight the whole thing. Now she's got extra spaces in here that she has to fix, not me. I go to paragraph. I could right click on it and get paragraph if I want, but I'll go up here to paragraph. I want hanging indent. I showed you all this. That's how you get those weird opposite of paragraphing, and this thing's in my way. I can't get to, there it is. And so I want double spacing. And hit OK, and boom, we're right. All we have here is these extra spaces that she had in between. The hanging indent is what tells us it's a new item. Well, it tells us it's still part of the same item, so that the not hanging, that's how it's the opposite of a paragraphing. That took me all of what? Maybe 2 minutes? Still have a spacing thing here, and I'm not sure what it is. But I would probably overlook that, as long as this looks this way. This is what I told Kayla. I said, I keep saying, use modeling. Open up a page that's right, Purdue, or this one, or someone, and then open up yours. If your eyes are working correctly, you'll go, wait, those don't look the same. And then you'll fix it, presumably. She's got her access dates. That's good. So over here, I think we had already, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is another student who's complaining. Oh, I did this and I don't deserve a 0. Well, this is what I graded. I get here, get all spacing wrong. She hasn't followed any of my directives. There's no statistics or anything here. I don't get to Hiltzik till down here someplace. That's just a diction thing. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of everything, I get my works cited page, and our text just goes away. The works cited is completely wrong. Oh, I don't have it. These are pictures that I took, but if you scroll down, the rest of her paper suddenly appears. I can't give that a grade. So your first thing that you're going to do for essay 3, well, 2 things. You're going to decide how you want me to deal with essay 2, then grade for essay 2. The second thing you're going to do by, I think, Wednesday, is decide what your focus is going to be. Your focus for essay 3 means now you're not just talking about technology in general. You're going to talk about technology in relation to something specific. Well, kind of specific, like technology and warfare. That's not one of them, by the way, but it could be. Technology in global affairs, technology in medicine, technology in health, technology in mental health, technology and which we've already kind of encountered a little bit, technology and physical health. We didn't really do a whole lot of physical health stuff, but there was that one essay that talked somewhat about it, eye strain and all that. Technology and socializing, technology and entertainment, changes the way what we expect from movies or music or whatever. So you're going to pick one of those to focus on. And then over the next 2.5 weeks, we're going to scatter a few assignments, what's your tentative thesis statement? your works cited, your word count. So I use word count as the example so that maybe you realize that you can't hate me as much as you think you should. If somebody says minimum 1,600 words, they don't mean 1,599, close enough. Minimum by definition means you got to get there plus some. So now, have I failed students for turning in 1,589 when it's 1,600? Probably not. I overlooked that. Don't think that you can do it, because in those cases, it was like, oh, everything else is so good. Word count comes up short. What am I going to do? Maybe take a few points off, whatever. Now, if you turn in 1,450, then I do the math. So, okay, 1,450 out of 16, that's 80%. So that's what you're starting with, an 80. If it drops below that, it's an automatic 0. So you can see I bend. I got to hold a little bit. I have to hold the line a little bit. Hold the line. All right. Checking my notes. Task stream, you don't really have to worry about just yet. We'll cover it. It's just going to be a place for you to click a link and drop your third essay. And you don't have to worry about it ever again. It's for, we call them archives, right? And your work will be an artifact, so that if anybody with the accreditation company, SACS, COC, comes and looks at it, they can look at whoever's they choose and go, hey, the Schmidt guy was teaching pretty hard, but he really made sure his students did the right thing. Or you could look at it and go, hey, the Schmidt guy gives everybody A's and B's, and they don't do the right thing based upon the student learning outcomes. Questions? Sorry, I was in a rant, not a rant, but a race there with my business.
I have a question.
Oh. Got plenty of time. Destiny, go first.
I was just wondering, so you said that we could ask you to like say what we need to fix on essay 2? Or is that what you said?
No, I think what I said is you'll fix it from essay 2 to essay 3. So whatever you didn't accomplish for essay 2, now you'll know how to not do the same thing. There's a lot of negatives in there, but you'll know how to do the right thing for essay 3.
Okay. Okay.
And my numbering system will tell you. And short of that, I mean, I'm kind of torn between like sitting and explaining every little thing with you, because I'm not supposed to be doing that. That's the numbering, like figure it out. What did you do wrong there? And if you really can't, then of course I'll give you some guidance for what the problem was. I don't know who the other person was.
Oh, it was me.
Okay.
So when you say a minimum amount of words, how much over can we go over that? Like if it's 500, can we go to like 800?
Well, you know, maximum words are just a range.
Okay.
I mean, you know, within reason. If it was a 500, if it's a 1,600 word essay and you turn in 8,000 words, they need to be really good. I mean, people write the 8,000 word, you know, doctorates and stuff like that, but you know, 5-page paper, when it goes beyond that, it gets tedious unless it's really good. So you can always go over if you really feel like you need more space to, you know, examine whatever you're dealing with. So okay. 16 to 2,000, I'd say 2,000. You know, if you went to 2,500, it's not a big deal. Don't do what somebody in when I was in graduate school, somebody did this and they got caught. How stupid. They wrote like a 10-page paper, but he was sure that the teacher didn't grade them. She just, you know, looked at them and put them aside, you know, just put a grade on them. So writing him, he wrote like 3 pages, and then copied and pasted from someplace, just right in the middle, 7 pages, and then wrote the last page, and she caught it. He got booted from graduate school. I shouldn't laugh at him, but I guess he was being a rebel. I don't know. Other questions? I'll send out the email and I'll unhide. I don't know if they're still hidden or not. Unhide the comments and the grades. And so the numbering system will be there. Remember 4, 5, and 6. I don't think there were any examples of 5, anybody self-referencing so much that I had to give it a 0. Mostly it's 4 and 7. Oh, 4 and 6, sorry. Or any combination, a bunch of errors and a little of this or whatever. We get plenty of time according to 240 questions. Or I can look at somebody's if you want to be a brave soul to say, how in the hell did I get a 0?
You can go to mine. Tajane Noble.
Okay. I don't think yours is going to be if I recall, I don't think yours is going to be a good representative because it's probably something easy to fix. We'll look at it. Like I have a student in my first class whose essay was really good. I would have probably given it a 92, but he did one of those taboo things. And I told him, it kills me, but I got to give you the 0 because you violated this one thing. And I'm sure he'll remedy it. So I'm not that worried about it. Look like I'm falling asleep. Wake up, Richard. There we are. So, still not coming out. I was about to say, hey, nobody pay attention to what you're about to see. Brianna, are you here?
Yes.
Well, I'll ask you to take a quick glance at yours and tell me why 4 and 7. Nothing wrong with the text, the actual words. That's not a title. That's an assignment. All the spacing in here, and then it's big thing that you should see right away is not double spacing. Sorry, Brianna, you just popped up first. Change your last name to something with a Z. Two, 3, 4, 7. Like I said, right away, I just see what I see right away. And I don't go, oh, you fail automatically. But right away, we must see this is not in the right place. I don't know why that happened. Your title looks okay if I can move this. We got a decent, we got a creative title and a title that's unique to this essay, and it's got all the right capitalization. I think or is probably supposed to be capitalized too, but I'd let that go. We have spacing issues in between paragraphs, and I can show you how I did that with Kayla's essay. I already showed you all, it's on the video, but I can show you again if you want to see it. And so those are formatting issues. 3, what's 3 again? Oh, second person, do you have second person issues in here? Yep.
Yeah, I
Second
seen it
person,
at the beginner and like towards the end.
so like I said, it's not really representative. It doesn't have a whole lot of the wrong things happening. They just kind of add up. You follow the directives here. I see use of the statistics, and then we transition to the piece by Hiltzik. Nobody seemed to be able to spell his name right. I don't know how to spell it correctly. I think it's a T or something in it. Yeah. The work site's right, except you didn't include all the other things. All you did was copy it. It looks like all you did was copy and paste from the original assignment. So it doesn't have all my fixes like this stuff here. Oops, there's a small error there to be mindful of. Those are kind of things I don't really, they're not devastating. But like I told Ruben, I hate it because you got a lot of good stuff happening, but I gotta stick to my guideline principles.
Excuse me, Professor.
Yes.
Could you go to a Word document and show us how the spacing should be?
Yes, I
Yeah, I'm
can.
gonna
That's what
ask you that too.
if I go back to Kayla, sorry, Kayla, but we're going to use yours. I guess this one. I think, oh no, she didn't have it here. I think I already fixed this one. I have to go to a different one, sorry. Same paper, I just didn't fix it. All right, so now what we have to be careful about here is, do we have extra spacing that was manually put in? Because you see what happens is while we're typing here, hi, and then I decide to go to a new paragraph, it wants to put extra spacing all the time. It's just like a one space, I think. So Word is wanting to do that. So I'd have to go through this. And like I said, if this was the only thing wrong, I wouldn't care. I would care, but I wouldn't care that much. Now I either go to paragraph here, or I can right click paragraph to get to paragraph. I'll go here and we're double. And then we got to say, hey, dude, stop adding these extra spaces between paragraphs. So when you hit the hard return, when you go to your new paragraph on purpose, it's going to automatically go to spaces and not an extra space, or however much space it does. And I don't know if you saw it, but it brought it all together. So again, this is in Word. I don't know how to do Google, but I'm sure it has its own little, like a paragraph place or whatever. Make sure your spacing is right and click don't add extra space or add space. Now, what I told you on that video to do is go ahead, and this may be Brianna's problem. Go ahead, it's fine. Do it all single space, then highlight the whole thing. Don't put any extra spaces, just new paragraph normally. And then highlight the whole thing and do this. And so you don't have to worry about the fact that you might have, say you manually put a space in someplace like that. It's going to remember that, and you're still going to have this big chunk of white. There's nothing wrong. I mean, it's not a major thing. It's just a thing. And so I think the idea is that white space here is distracting for, the comfort of the reader. I don't know. I didn't make up the style. I just follow it. Now, if you were typing manually, like you just double spaced and you were putting your extra returns, maybe you wouldn't have that problem, but then you might have a different problem. I don't know. I wouldn't do it that way. See, I'm not sure. This feels like she might have, yeah, I figured that. Extra space up in there. There's a lot of white space there. And you say, well, that's pretty, the word I use, fastidious, particular to the details. Well, you can see, I mean, yeah, if you don't know how to do it, it might be a pain in the butt, but it's not that difficult to do it, to get it right. And it's all, I'm glad you all are kind of interested because it's all about the product. You present me a product and I have to deal with that product. And so if your boss in the future or your literature professor in the future or whoever says, I want this, if they say it's free form, more power to you. But if they say, I want this way, you're going to like having had old grumpy Mr. Schmidt because he made you get it right. Because somebody else might hold your feet to that fire. Any other questions before I leave this document? A how-to kind of thing?
The title is all right, correct?
The title is this title here.
Yeah,
Is
like
not.
as in spacing and everything.
Oh yeah, it looks right. No, this looks wrong, but I couldn't figure it out. See, that looks like too much space. And that looks, oh, I guess I see what happened. I think I see what happened. No, I don't know. I would have let that go though. That's probably bad of me to say. You should probably try to get it right. And what I would do if I were her and I was having this problem, I'd start over. If I scratched this all out and got this back up here, some kind of, oops, not that. And now I know my spacing is going to be right. And I'll put my title, blah, 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 blah. Sorry. But her title needed capitalization, that was all. Did I show you all the hanging indent thing? I can't remember where I did things. Yeah, I did that, right? Or maybe I didn't.
Yeah,
No, I didn't. I did.
yeah, I think so.
Got it. Any other questions about formatting that I can show you on Word here? The big issue is that I can't do it for you for essay 3. I mean, either use this as kind of a template, and just fill in the new information, or use it as a model to look at, or use the one from Purdue OWL to look at to get it right. If you need me to show you again how to get all that before you submit, I'll do that on, like the week before. If you forget, all those little commands. Because to do it manually would put you in jeopardy. Sorry to say. Messing
So
things up.
the same guidelines that we have for essay 2 with all the rules and stuff are going to be the same for essay 3.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I should show you that too, but I think I have it over here. So these are the assignments as they come from the department. So you got essay 1, a critical response. We did that with whatever essay we did. Oh, you got to choose one, right? And you can see, if you think I'm a toughie, they actually want 800 to 1,000 for the smallest essay. And I think this one's supposed to be, am I on the right one? This one, the second one's supposed to be 1,000 to 1,200. And then the third one is 16 to 2,000. I think I changed that to 1,200 to 1,600. I'm not sure. Um, So these are the guidelines. I've modified it on our site to be all MLA. So they fluctuate between MLA and APA. So I think I fixed all that. It's MLA. We're doing MLA. Some other class might have you do APA. Some other class might have you do Chicago or Turabian, or there are other styles I can't think of. But those guidelines, the MLA stuff and all that, stay intact. It's all the same stuff. The only difference is now I'm not giving you sort of a directive for organizational purposes. You know, put this here, put that there, transition here, transition there. One would hope that you kind of got that and know what to do. It's just another sample of a mess that I received. That's not my name. Maybe I should be. I have multiple personalities. Schmitz. No paragraphing happening here. I don't know what that's all about. And then I get the works site. It just appears in the middle of someplace. Any questions before I get off of this share, the other share? Never. I don't even know what I mean by that. Other questions? Midterm grades went in, but this essay was not included in the calculations. Obviously, well, obvious to me because I didn't put grades in the slots. And despite what anybody says, I have not said that everybody got an automatic 0, therefore you all fail the class. It's not what I said. I said, if I have to grade right now, I'd have to give you automatic 0s for those reasons and move on. And that wouldn't be good for anybody, including me. Questions? Well, have a good afternoon. Tuesday. Well, you know, you have until Wednesday to decide what you want your focus to be. And if you just, one of the choices is something approved by me. So if you have some other idea, like I said, the warfare thing just popped in my head as I was talking. So maybe you have, I didn't think, like technology and music. I mean, I guess that would come under entertainment, but you know, like in the 20th century, you know, the electric guitar changed, you know, the way that music was presented, recording and all that. So, but if you have it, my point is, if you have something else that you want to pursue that's not one of the lists, one of the items to check is something approved by the instructor. So you'd have to run that by me, and most likely I would say, yeah, I mean, unless you said technology and hairspray. I don't know where you're going to go with that. Technology and style, maybe? I don't know. Then you have to do like clothing and hair and deodorant. I don't know. That might come under health too. But one thing I didn't put, and I'm just remembering that a lot of you have majors that are not English or whatever, criminal justice, technology and criminal justice. You know, cameras have changed the way that we catch bad people, but also the way we prosecute bad people, but also the way we prosecute good people, you know, like cops and other authority figures beating their children or whatever. Did you all ever see that video where some guy's in like a restaurant and his kid's acting up, and boy, and he just lays into the kid? I mean, I'm not going to get into arguing about spanking, but this wasn't spanking. This was like beating up. Anyway, Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Mr. Schmidt,
Yes.
when will we be able to see like our grades in like the comments?
Probably as soon as I get off this call, I'll go ahead and change. I just have to click a button.
Okay, thank you.
Did you take attendance?
No, I'm gonna use, I can't think, the Zoom recording, the cloud recording. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Got hot in here.
Turn that fan off, brisket. What's my brisket doing?
Caitlin, I don't know if you're there, but
Yes.
two responses to your question. One is no, I'm not regrading those essays, but yeah, that's the more important part, forgetting the works cited page. Obviously, I grade it based upon what I see. I can't know whether you forgot it or just didn't do it or whatever. But the second thing is, remember, it's supposed to be a part of your essay. It's not a separate thing from your essay. It's a new last page in sequence of your essay. So like when you submit essay 3, there won't be a works cited submission. It'll just be part of the same thing.